The Kraken Boss is back. Here are the best and worst classes. For the testing, I used Vayne with Vamp Attack and Walk Speed, Glass Armor, and Vamp Burn and Attack Up 0 weapons. The Hunter is one of the strongest classes for event bosses because upgrades are disabled. Your pet does not scale with weapon upgrades, making summons very strong. Status effects are the best ways to deal damage for event bosses, and the Hunter has 2 built into its kit, with the Blazing Shot and Venom Trap. Additionally, ranged classes are superior to all other classes for bosses due to all mechanics being designed for melee classes. The Hunter was able to clear this boss in 2 minutes and 16 seconds, placing it at the top of S tier. The Necromancer is the second mastery class, and on paper it sounds good with the Death Knights summons and the Hexed status effect, but this class is unfortunately melee, meaning it is worse than all ranged classes. The only good thing about the melee is that your auto attacks counter the Whirlpool Suck mechanic. All of the mechanics you need to dodge require you to run out of melee, lowering your overall damage. A ranged class can continue to attack the boss while dodging mechanics, and melee can't. The Necromancer finished in 357, putting it into the C tier. The Mage of Shadows is the former best class, but after receiving nerfs back in July, it struggles with single target damage. The class is very strong in AoE, but doesn't pack the punch the Hunter or the Summoner brings. The auto attacks are very good for proccing Vampiric or Burn on your weapon, but it falls short of other ranged classes. The Mage of Shadows finished in 225, placing it into the A tier. The Shadow Blade is currently the strongest class for dungeons in World 0 and scales better than any other class here. This class heavily relies on perfect 0 stats and upgrades, and since upgrades are disabled, this class is terrible. Your attacks hit for so little, it feels like you heal the boss whenever you attack. The Shadow Blade finished in 501, placing it in the bottom of F tier. The Summoner is incredibly strong for event bosses because summons don't scale with upgrades. Your damage does not depend on gear, making this class very strong for newer players. Your summons are also immune to most of the AoE mechanics, meaning they don't instantly die. The Summoner finished in 2 minutes and 17 seconds, putting this into the S tier. The Warlord is my personal favorite melee class. The axe and shield look super cool, but unfortunately, this class struggles in solo content. The Warlord F ability lowers defense, and the E ability is just fun to press. If that wasn't enough, you also summon a giant tree as your ultimate. The Warlord finished in 327, putting it into the B tier. The Spirit Archer is one of the easiest classes to play in World 0. The Kraken Boss tentacles are classified as mobs, and this class is a monster against mob-type enemies because of the Piercing Arrow's ability to lower mob defense. Spirit Archer finished in 222, earning its spot into the S tier. The Demon is a very easy melee class to play because of your self-healing. The Dark Binding and Life Steal abilities synergize very well. I found the damage to be on the lower end. The Demon finished in 427, going into the F tier, just ahead of the Shadow Blade. The Dragoon has a very fun kit with the Dragon Chain mechanic, but oh my god, this class is terrible. You can't use the Dragon Dance or Dragon Wrath abilities or else you go flying. This means you can only use your F, Dragon Slam, and auto attacks. The Dragoon, despite this setback, finished in 323, but it took me way too many tries, earning its spot into the F tier. The Berserker has very strong AoE, but this is a single target boss fight. This class has burn chance built into its ultimate and many strong abilities, but it's not a ranged class. Berserker finished in 417, going into the F tier. The Mage of Light is the safest class to play because of the shield and healing. The class has the lowest damage of all ranged classes, but since the class is ranged, it is still better than every melee option. The Mage of Light finished in 309, going into the B tier. The Paladin is very tanky and has a high health pool and healing. The Paladin struggles to deal damage, but it does look cool, so it earns style points. The Paladin finished in 527, the slowest of the day, going into the bottom of the F tier. The Guardian is a very slept on class and rarely anyone plays it. Your F ability, Slash Fury, is your main strength because it is currently bugged and hits enemies twice. This class has a high health pool and deals decent melee damage, and the Guardian finished in 327, earning its spot in the B tier. The Elementalist is incredibly strong for event bosses because of Burn, Shock, and Super Frost status effects. You will have no problem taking away the Kraken Boss, but the Elementalist relies more on gear than the Summoner and the Hunter. It finished in 234, a bit slower than the other ranged classes, going into the A tier. The Dual Wielder is very similar to the Shadow Blade. This class shines with combat rhythm in dungeons, but it has a hard time keeping uptime for this event. Since the class also relies on gear upgrades, it feels very weak. Dual Wielder finished in 408 going into the C tier. Bonus round! If for some reason you're wondering which starter class is the best, the Arcane Mage finished in 312, Defender in 428, and Swordmaster in 449. The Arcane Mage B, Defender and Swordmaster F. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Sorry I haven't uploaded in 2 months, I've been dead. I haven't quit World Zero, but I have been playing a lot of World of Warcraft. Expect uploads at least every month and maybe once every 1 to 2 weeks if you subscribe. Goodbye!